Imagine this. You don't know what to do at any given time of the day, and yet you want to do everything at the same time. You want so much. You're not sure there's another human being on Earth who could possibly imagine the depths of your covetous mind. When you do decide to focus your limited energy on one thing for a while, it takes flight. It soars high above you, and then you send it into the world knowing you may never think about it again. Your mind has already moved on, and your body is screaming for rest. If you actually let yourself lay down, you do so knowing you'll be trapped in your head, imagining endless scenarios for the lives you can't have, incapable of closing your eyes, of taking a breath, of saying you've done enough, of imagining a world that's simple.
Welcome to my life as a multi-passionate projector. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. I talk a lot about various self-discovery practices on this channel, and through the process of examining my inner workings over the years, through the application of different practices and paradigms, I've figured out a lot of stuff that Jenny from 5 years ago had no idea about. So if you're just starting, or maybe just getting interested in some of this stuff, then you are in the right place. Some of the realizations that I've made over the last few years have literally changed the way that I understand myself and how I operate in the world. And it's given me a new language with which to interpret my life and everything in it. So, shocking revelation number 1 was that there is a word for people who easily and eagerly collect many varied interests and skills, along with this real talent and natural inclination to make connections between things at a really high level. And because of this, they don't think like a lot of society and aren't as great at working in highly specialized careers. But they can thrive in more generalized roles that allow them to pull from their enormous toolbox of talents and experience to creatively problem solve or develop better systems for our society. Well, actually, when I said that there was just one word for this, that was a bit misleading. There's quite a few words, actually. Multi-potentialite, multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate, polyglot, putty peep. Whatever the terminology, that's me. To a T. You see, I could never explain to people throughout my life why I knew I would never have just one career. Why I wasn't like most of them, but I couldn't really articulate why. They would not understand the frustration that I felt every day in trying to mold myself into someone who fit the model of what we as a society have decided that adults should be like as productive working folks who contribute to the workforce and figure their lives and careers out just once and then live on autopilot for the next 50 years. And how it physically hurt me to imagine that life for myself, while the oppressive weight of failure seemed permanently affixed to my shoulders as I pivoted from one job to another job, trying to find a path that could eventually lead me to some semblance of happiness or fulfillment, not realizing the entire time that that's not what I was made for. It wasn't how my brain worked, and it wasn't what I needed, and it wasn't where I was needed. One of the biggest aha moments that I have ever had was coming to the realization that I was a multi-potentialite and a creative and not likely to ever be fulfilled in a traditional 9-to-5 environment. And because of the unique way that I've lived and the experiences that I've had and the way that I collect hobbies and interests and new perspectives, the way that I see the world, it's always from way up here in the clouds, seeing all of the magical interconnectedness of the systems that we have built up around ourselves and the beauty and the heartbreak of the world on a really large scale. That's my unique genius and the individual way that my mind works, and it has a purpose and a value that is just as rich and essential to society as any other person. It gave me permission to stop comparing myself to everyone else and escape from the prison that the word should had built up around me, to stop bearing the guilt of not conforming to other people's standards of success, and start asking myself what success means to me alone. What does it look like for me to love my life and find excitement and fulfillment and even financial security in it too? And what does that look like for me and what I do? It has also taught me to be more compassionate with myself It's not easy. It's a constant struggle of feeling like I'm not good enough for any one thing to truly call myself an expert, to feel behind and know that other people probably see me. I'm out here on my 4th career, and they must think that it means that there's some inherent flaw in me. And I'm trying to, I'll try to explain to people why I can't just have one job, why a simple life, it just isn't on the table for me. And why I continue to do so many things that I feel overextended and constantly paralyzed by indecision and overwhelm almost every moment of every day. And yet, when it works, when I'm doing things that give me that hum of alignment and yes, that feels like I'm doing this exactly right, that I don't regret any of it, and that I want to do even more things still. So that's what it's like for me. Still trying to figure out how to be who I am in this world, how to thrive as a multi-potentialite instead of burning out, which is the eternal struggle. And that's where human design comes in. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a projector, and this is one of the energy types that humans fall into in the human design system. It's not the rarest type, but it still makes up only about 20% of the population. Human design is a fairly new interpretation of several ancient systems, combining astrology with the I Ching and the chakra system to come to a new understanding of our unique energy body and the way we are meant to function in the world. So I stumbled upon human design, and as someone who has always been really fascinated by ancient knowledge and more modern efforts to understand and classify people based on patterns in our behavior and psychology, I instantly became obsessed. I got my human design chart, which is similar to astrology in that it's based on your exact time and location of birth. And on the first day of just reviewing what my energy type was and what kind of authority I had, just the basics of those two things, I felt so validated. Everything was resonating so much that I was like, this cannot actually be a thing that's so easy for people to access, because it's like having cheat codes for every aspect of your life. So here's what understanding your human design can do for you. Through studying your design, you can unearth the secret strategy to how you do things, how you get what you want, how you make decisions, how you relate with other people and how they experience you, your actual purpose and gifts, and the things that you need to feel secure and successful. What it looks like when you're acting in alignment with how you're built, and what it looks like when you are not. Tendencies you'll have throughout your life, and the patterns that you might encounter repeatedly as you are trying to figure yourself out. I know it sounds wild that you can get so much information about yourself from this crazy sounding system that uses words and numbers and stuff that you don't understand and seem probably straight up insane. But I get it, believe me. But this is not just a paragraph that you can read in a paper to see what your day is going to be like a horoscope. This is a complex system, and it needs time to sink in once you start exploring it. So there are things that I've read that I did not understand for months until suddenly something just clicked about it. So human design, it could be especially difficult to grasp for you if you don't necessarily see yourself that clearly. If you've got a lot of preconceived notions about like the woo-woo self-help world that may be keeping you really close-minded about the type of truths that can be found there, especially if they're inconvenient truths, depending on the life that you've had, the kind of life you've had, and the extent to which you've bought into this lie that we're all supposed to be the same, which is not true. We are all different. We are all built differently. We are all made differently through a plethora of reasons. We're not supposed to want the same things, and we're not supposed to be able to function the same way every day to get to the same goal. Everyone has different benchmarks and traits and histories and unique paths. So you have to leave all of that behind if you actually want to give self-discovery a real chance. There are ways of understanding yourself better and learning how to function in a way that feels better to you. At least that's what I found. When it comes to being a projector, that was shocking revelation number 2. The biggest thing for me is that I do not have consistent access to energy. Can you imagine going your whole life into your late 30s, feeling broken and sick? Because every day is a roller coaster that you ride, not knowing if you'll be able to do everything you want to do, and eventually always having to accept that you just can't do everything you want to do without breaking yourself to do it, and ending every day feeling like you've failed. Because we all have ambitions, right? And the prevailing attitude out there is that you need to hustle to make that happen. You see, like, there's an army of young people online now who are making content about productivity and waking up at 5 a.m. And this is how I earn $20,000 a month because I've hacked my life and manifested success. And you, seeing all of this, you just want to disappear. You shut down and you hide and you can't figure out how to do it and you don't have the energy to do it and you don't know how you will ever succeed, and you push and you push and you push, but you go absolutely nowhere and you are killing yourself to do it. That was what life was like as an unaware projector for me for years. So learning about how projectors are different from the majority of people on Earth who are generators and function completely differently was life-changing for me. I read about how easily we drain, how we don't really create our own energy, how we are not meant to push or hustle or force things to happen in our lives, how our job is to learn things and prepare to share them with the world and to help people grow, but only when they see us and recognize what we have to offer and invite us to share it with them. How so many projectors feel like black sheep. How we face a lot of rejection and invalidation in life because we don't realize that we have to wait for people to be ready for us before we give of ourselves to them. It was like letting go of a breath that I had been holding my entire life to learn this. Now I try to live by my human design strategy. That is understanding better how to take the things that I'm passionate about and knowledgeable about, and even the things that I do for my real life job, and create a space for them to exist that allows people to find them, to see them, and decide for themselves if they want to invite more of it into their life. This strategy has brought so much more ease into my life. As a person and a professional, it has brought me job offers, successes I would probably never have experienced had I gone about trying to make them happen through the more traditional, masculine, pushy, forceful way. It's brought me more thoughtful ways of interacting with people, and it's given me permission to remove some of the expectations that I always placed on myself for productivity and success, and adopt a more realistic and healthy picture of what those things mean for me. In that vision, I allow myself to rest. As I said in the beginning, rest is not easy for me. I've conditioned my entire life to believe that there is something wrong with rest. But learning to prioritize it benefits every aspect of my life in numerous ways that I'm just starting to see and understand. There's so much more that I could go into regarding both of these subjects, human design and multi-potentiality. And I mean it, there is so much more to explore when it comes to how learning about these systems can really change your life and how they changed my life. But for now, I hope that this has been helpful for you, at least. This is regardless of whether you identify as a multi-potentialite or a multi-passionate person, whether you're a projector or not a projector. I wanted to share specifics about my life and how those things have affected me. But I think the lessons are applicable to anyone, that if you're interested in learning more about yourself and this type of stuff, it's out there for you and you can access it and begin to uncover layers about yourself that are going to make your life make more sense and to give you strategies in order to live in a more fulfilling way that works better for you and how you are made. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about this type of stuff, or you like this series and you'd like me to keep talking about it, then like the video, leave me a comment. And if you're like me and my words resonated with you at all, then just say hi, because it's been a lonely road, sometimes feeling really adrift in the sea of people around me, because I am in the minority in certain ways in my life with just certain aspects of my being and personality and how I'm built. So it's always nice to be reminded that there are other people who are out there who maybe even just a little bit actually get me. So, and maybe this is that validation for you, in which case, thank you so much for watching. Okay, well, that's it for today's video. I'm Jenny. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you again. Be well, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.